Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about Max Holloway, Ilia Topuria, UFC 308's main event in Abu Dhabi. Robert Whittaker chimes in. Very interesting thoughts from Robert Whittaker. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel. Your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway is it's one of fantastic ways to close off the year. It's not going to be quite at the end of the year, but it's certainly going to be towards the end of the year. If I'm not mistaken, this one's going to be on an October card in Abu Dhabi. So it's going to make the latter half of the year heavy in terms of fights. Just because this one over here has the potential of being one of the best fights in recent memory. I mean, in all honesty, it could also be very dull. When we make these quote-unquote predictions, they're not so much predictions. They're just expressing different scenarios and outcomes that could or could not happen. Like I said, this fight could end in the first minute. It could go all 25 minutes. Who has the upper hand? Well, I think you have to give it to the champion just because he is the current champion. That is Ilia Topuria. Knocked out a guy in the form of Alexander Volkanovski, which seemed to be almost undefeatable at some points. Obviously, guys has been defeated. Back-to-back knockouts, matter of fact. Nonetheless, the way that Ilia Topuria knocked out or finished Alexander Volkanovski is an impressive win, to say the least. And I don't think many of us knew much about Ilia Topuria, myself included, with all fairness, prior to that Volkanovski fight. But after that Volkanovski fight, you really started to take notice. I can certainly say that about myself. The power that Ilia Topuria has is certainly something to take notice of. And especially when he has you cornered and he gets to land a couple shots. It seems like if the guy lands, he's promised to put a guy away. And the thing is that you don't really see what was done to Alexander Volkanovski done by many other fighters. Obviously, Makhachev knocked him out with a head kick. I don't think Volka was expecting Islam Makhachev to throw that head kick to begin with, in all honesty. Volka had a terrible camp leading up to the fight against Islam Makhachev, and then he went on to take that fight against Ilia Topuria in very short. He did not give himself enough time to recover. It was a short amount of recovery time. Nonetheless, we have to give Ilia Topuria his credit. Knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. Not the first time he touches a guy and they fall. I mean, it's happened before. And that most certainly could be the case going against Max Holloway. On the other hand, the latter, Max Holloway, has the power. Most certainly, he just knocked out Gaethje in arguably one of the knockouts. It's most certainly one of the knockouts of the year. The debate is now, was it the knockout of the year? It was that knockout, and then I believe the Canadian boxer that knocked out the American boxer H2O Silva. That was a brutal knockout. Also, it's between that one and the Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje knockout, obviously. So most certainly what I'm trying to say here is that Max Holloway possesses power. Not only that, he has the confidence, after defeating Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is no joke. In my eyes, that was the number one contender. For that title. I thought that guy was going to give Islam Makhachev most difficult time. Unfortunately for Gaethje, everything got derailed because of that loss. And now, Max Holloway, BMF champion. I thought that BMF title was going to be included in the featherweight bout against Ilia Topuria. That's not going to be the case, obviously, which kind of makes sense. I could see how it makes sense both ways if the title was included, and if it's not included, in this situation, it's not going to be included. So going back to the point that Max Holloway certainly has the power, just like Ilia Topuria does as well. But we also know one other thing about Max Holloway, and that's the flurry. He's going to keep throwing punches, and he's gonna keep doing it for 25 minutes. Does not get tired, and it's going to come in flurries, combinations. He's going to pick you apart. But like I said, going back to Ilia Topuria, if the guy has you cornered, he truthfully only needs to land a couple shots to put, he put away Alexander Volkanovski, and that is the guy that defeated Max Holloway multiple times. So I think that says something. I think that's a bit of MMA math that doesn't always work, obviously. You never know. It's certainly an interesting fight. I believe that speed is perhaps going to be on Max Holloway's side. I do think that if Max Holloway stands toe-to-toe with Ilia Topuria, then I'm not sure how that would go down. But I think that Ilia is probably going to have the more powerful shots. It's just, I think, standing in front of Ilia Topuria, try to exchange with him toe-to-toe for Max Holloway, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I think that Robert Whittaker, generally speaking, kind of agrees with everything that I've just said. He thinks that, I think that, he plainly just sides with Max Holloway, the experienced fighter. He thinks that, Max Holloway has the combinations and he has the lungs that'll carry him the 5 rounds. Plus, he has the experience. Max Holloway has been in the UFC ever since I can remember, in all honesty. And he also says that Ilia Topuria has kind of caught the world of MMA by surprise, sort of. He didn't quite say those words, but what he said was that, prior to that Volkanovski fight, not many of us kind of knew about Ilia Topuria. I can most certainly say that about myself. And, after the Volkanovski knockout, most certainly started to take notice. Not only that, respect. Because not only is he the champion, but the guy has something about his character that is very captivating. Reminds me a lot of young McGregor, only in a different body. Different swagger about him as well. But certainly has a swagger about him, Ilia Topuria. I cannot wait for Ilia Topuria to headline something in Spain. Obviously, he has Max Holloway to deal with, and we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. But imagine Ilia Topuria, Spain, at the Santiago Bernabeu. Fantastic. Obviously, he has to get through Max first. Not saying that that's going to be an easy task. This fight is very close. So, speed, agility, and just sheer numbers in terms of combination punches thrown, Max Holloway, and power. If he has you cornered, it's going to be on Ilia Topuria's side. That's what former middleweight champion seems to think, and I think I agree with him. Like I said, it's not much of a prediction. No one can really predict anything. You can only explore different outcomes and scenarios. This is all hypothetical speaking. Like I said, this could be an anticlimactic fight, and it could be one of the fights of the year, if not the decade. It most certainly has the potential of being one of the fights of the year, at least. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments, like, subscribe for more.